Let's continue our decision making with a slightly more complicated situation. Many of you have been to a casino somewhere and seen a roulette wheel. A roulette wheel is based on a bet on a table that has numbers on it that you can bet on that start with 0 and 00 and go from 1 to 36. The roulette wheel has the same numbers on it, and they spin a ball, and whatever slot the ball falls into is obviously the winning number. So let's look at this with regard to decision making and fair bets. So we know that the numbers of the probability of the outcome is there's 1 through 36 plus 0 and 00 for 38 potential outcomes. So the probability of you picking your one number is 1 out of 38. Well, 1 out of 38 isn't the odds. We know that. Probability and odds are different. So let's look at the odds. Odds equal probability divided by 1 minus the probability. In this case, the probability is 1 out of 38 divided by 1 minus 1 over 38 equals 1 divided by 38. 1 minus 1 over 38 is obviously 37 over 38, which if we just cross off 38s, we get 1 over 37, or 37 to 1. The fair game, the game that no one has an edge, on a probability of 1 chance out of 38, the fair odds are 37 to 1. Now, if we think about this in terms of betting, it helps to use an example. For example, if we bet on one number, we bet 1, and if we win, we should win 37. If we lose, and the odds are if the wheel comes up with the same numbers or the same probability for each number, in other words, it's a fair wheel, that we should win 1 out of 38 times, and when we win, we get 37, and we lose, we give up $1, so the game's even. Another way to look at that is if you bet $1 on every number on the table. If you bet $1 on every number on the table, you're going to pay for that bet $1. You're going to pay $38 because you've got 1 times 38 numbers, right? And what do you win? Well, if it's 37 to 1, you get to keep the $1 that you bet, plus you win $37 from the house, which makes it an even money bet. You spent $38 on the bet, you get to keep your $1, and you get $37 from the house, so it's an even money bet. You're going to win your same amount of money that you bet, so there's no edge. The house doesn't have an edge at 37 to 1, nor do you. However, that's not the way they build casinos, right? So how do they build casinos? They make them 35 to 1. 35 to 1 is the typical bet that you'll see in a casino for a roulette wheel to pick the number that comes up when the wheel is spun. So when you think about that, that's quite an or quite an edge. So if you bet $1 on every number, you still have a $38 bet. You still get your $1 back because you're definitely going to win. You've covered every outcome. And the $37 that is a fair bet is no longer 37 in the payoff. The payoff is now 35, and you lose 2. Losing $2, if you bet on every one, is the edge that the house gets to keep for running the game. It's their advantage. That's how they build those large casinos, is that the games aren't fair. Their odds are not in your favor. So remember, probability is the risk. The odds are the reward. In this case, 37 to 1, risk and reward are equal. The risk is a fair game. The reward pays off for the risk. At 35 to 1, the reward, $35, is not worth the risk because on average, over the long haul, the edge is with the house. So what do you want to do when you make a financial decision? You want to put the edge in your favor. Now, if you go to a casino, what you're looking for is a roulette table that pays 38 to 1. If you find a roulette table that has 38 numbers on it and it pays 38 to 1, then you bet $1 on every one, which is $38. You get to keep your $1. They pay off $38 and you're plus 1, and you just keep playing. Don't leave the table. If Just stay there until you get enough to put $2 in every number, and then win enough to win $3 in every number, and you just keep playing, never leave. Now, if you ever find a 38-to-1 table, I'll be very surprised because the house needs an edge. Well, if you look at it from the other point of view, remember you want to look at things from the other side of the table. The other side of the table is the house has an edge, 35-to-1 versus 37-to-1. So do they want you to keep betting? Of course they do. They never want you to stop betting. They want you to bet all the time. That's why they never lock the doors. That's why they give you free drinks. All of the examples of casino odds are all against you. All of the odds are in the house's favor. They have an edge. The reward isn't worth the risk. Can you win? Sure. Is it a smart bet? No, because the rewards don't equal the risk. When you think about casino betting, it's easy to think about it in terms of getting enough reward or more reward than the risk you're taking. In financial decisions in your own personal life, think of things in terms of rewards versus risk. Would you bet on a roulette table that paid 38-to-1? Yes. Are those high odds? Of course, but you want to stay in the game. The probabilities of you winning on each hand are not very high. But if you take it over 1,000 or 2,000 or 5,000 turns and the wheel is fair and the same numbers come up in the same proportion, then over the long haul you'll win. You want to always take the bet on the house, or on the side, usually the house, but on the side of the edge. You want to have the edge or the odds in your favor.